Hey y'all, we're in the root chakra, support, physical, financial. What else am I writing down here? Root chakra, physical support, finances.
Another spiral into that. We've been spiraling into that one the whole time.
Oh man, we've been told so many lies about this topic.
Yeah.
So you want to dig into some lies that you've been believing about this?
So let's see. Well, I guess an update from the last session. I felt some shifts right after that session. And I actually, what's interesting is I had some things, I think partially because of the Mercury retrograde and also because of that session. I had a couple of things come up even around another spiral that we've gone into, which is unsolicited advice. Mm-hmm. And so I think that was a combination of the two things because it was coming up in my...
And that has cleared? Or
friendship. Really? It's cleared. Yeah, no, it was something that I was able to work through and
Yay, high five. So we're starting off with a happy dance.
Yes, definitely. And I definitely felt a shift in that relationship blueprint. I've noticed not only did it create this shift where I was like, you know what? I'm still like here. I still, care for these people, but I'm not even like, I don't have any pull or desire to even consider showing up as more than just my presence for these relationships that are not at the level that I need. It's not even a question anymore. I'm like, no. And the really interesting thing is, I don't know if I had mentioned or not that I can't remember what we mentioned in the last one. See, this is when I go back and edit and watch again, it's helpful because I can remember what we've mentioned. So this might be a repeat, but through my previous sessions, we've mentioned that I have like I get visions, I get visuals sometimes in my meditations when I'm connecting to other energies that are coming into my life. And so, I had seen what my daughters would look like while they were still in my tummy. And I had seen what a significant relationship with that person was, what he looked like. And so I had connected to two different energies. I wasn't sure when I was connecting to them that it was different energies per se. But I had gone in, when I was calling in that mate, that relationship that I've been so desiring, when I was calling in that energy, I had gotten another visual of, what that next kind of relationship step looks like with what I'm calling in now and what that person looks like. And then I had gone in after that and done a meditation where I was actually connecting to my twin flame. And I didn't get a visual that time, but I got some information like that their name started with a J and that they were a Cancer and like all these different things. And so it's interesting because I met what is very obvious to me is the twin flame, but is also very obvious to me that it's not the relationship. And he doesn't look like the relationship that I was calling in either. But ever since I've spiraled, ever since I saw that, clearly realized, you know what, this is what this is, but it's definitely not the time for this union, possibly not in this lifetime. And just really easily saw that, honored myself in that, really honored the person in that, holding space for them and their journey. And when I connected to that twin flame energy, I had asked, what do you need from me in order to support your journey? And the answer that I got was to hold space. And when I met this person, that was the most natural, pull that I've ever felt to hold space for somebody's big emotions, which I had mentioned before. That so helped me with my kids and holding space for their emotions, which I had a big healing thing about. So I'll have to share that real quick too. There's so many celebrations and um, so ever since we did our last session, it's been really clear to me, and I've been feeling through, particularly with that relationship, how far into the water am I going to get? How far into the water can I get to help facilitate growth, but not be so triggering that it's tumultuous and actually like kind of fractures the relationship, right? So I'm kind of like I'm like going between like, you know, throwing in that life, that, you know, life preserver and offering that support, you know, of course they've got to grab it. And then just standing there and being the lighthouse, and also recognizing, listen, when you spiral into your wormholes, I'm going to point out to you very lovingly that this is your thing, that I'm not going to take responsibility for it. And I can only, you know, like, this is, I'm here to support you. I'm sending you support, you know.
Trigger them to even like say that.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Well, and definitely there's this balance, right, where sometimes it's like, okay, I'm gonna be here and really help you through this feeling, and I'm gonna support you through it. And then there's other times where it's like, no, you know, this is not an apology that's needed from me here. This is your thing that I'm sending you some love and support for as you work through this, you know. So that's been really beautiful. And the energy after that, after our session, I have been connecting so strongly. The energy of that other relationship has been coming to me. Like, I feel like it's there, like it comes, and like that, it's here already. Like that connection is so deep. And so I had, of course, I think partially because of the relationship blueprint and all of this stuff, plus the Mercury retrograde, whatever. So my daughter came in, we were trying to lay down for a nap last week. This is one of my triggers, right? And this actually, I was going to do a session on this again because I really wanted to go into another layer of it. But I think actually it kind of came through after our relationship blueprint, because I was thinking about doing another one of our parenting sessions. But she had come in and she triggered me because she was refusing to sleep. And so, you know, I was getting more and more frustrated and angry, and I yelled at her. And what I realized was, it became this thing where I was trying to break the behavior that is happening by my yelling at her. So either, you know, if you're, and I recognized the pattern. I recognized that if they're being like, quote unquote, too hyper, or if they're being too obstinate, or if they're, you know, whatever, I yell at them to break that. And usually that break comes from them crying, because I've gotten to the point that I'm yelling at them so much that it's like scares the shit out of them, right? So we laid down and I'm having all of these realizations about it. And she finally fell asleep. And then that night, I just, you know, I laid her down and she went to sleep. And then I went to bed and I was just crying because I recognized that, my gosh, like, what, you know, like, first of all, like a beginning feeling of guilt, right? Like, my goodness, like, what kind of parent am I to do that to my children? Of course, so that lasted like 2 seconds because I've learned to hold myself.
Let's move on. Yes. We're going to be
yes, it sucks.
easy
Yes,
with ourselves. Yes. Right. Check that box. Okay, up the vibrational scale.
So then I just really immediately like went to my corridor and went to my doors and walked in one of them. And I mean, I don't, you know how these things happen where like you hadn't had quite this level of clarity and awareness previously, but it's so obvious. Like, my dad used to do that to me, and I used to feel the exact same way, right?
I know.
Yeah.
It's like, oh.
So I went in, and of course it was of course that version of me that was, you know, feeling exactly how my daughter had been feeling that day. So this time when I went in on that, it was like first just like apologizing to her because I'm kind of still in that space, right? Like usually when I go in to meet these other versions of myself, I've healed beyond that so many layers that I feel like I'm in a space now that I'm holding space for that version of me showing up in a different way and creating different circumstances already. Whereas this time I was coming to that version of me having just done this again, right? And so there was a lot of apologizing and holding, holding each other. And I brought in the energies of the masculine and the feminine, the divine masculine and feminine. And then, after like releasing the emotions and just holding that version of me and, kind of having a discussion that I'm working to do better and I'm working through the healing, and she was ready to reintegrate. And I made the deal with her that she would help to remind me when I get to that point, that she would help to remind me of what it feels like, and, to see, like, if they're being obstinate, the sovereignty in that, right? Like they're being sovereign little individuals and that's beautiful. And I don't want to break that. Or if they're being super hyper, then, that's beautiful because they're joyous.
Yeah, and maybe they just need to like take a laundry basket full of stuff across the house. Like that's a sensory thing that I learned that really helped, but yeah. There's so many reasons that we can't know that, and they can't communicate to us.
Yeah, because they don't really know either.
They don't.
So the next day, of course,
bodies, and they're like, what the hell?
Yeah. So the next day, of course, well, in that day that I had yelled at Sarah, she woke up, she peed twice in her pants, because what happens? You disassociate when you get scared like that.
Yes.
She disconnects from her body. And then just because the universe is an asshole and I was frustrated, that afternoon, I can't tell you how many things went wrong that day. That whole day I was just like, okay.
Sorry for laughing. I'm
laughing. No, it was like, it was
because
scary.
They, of course, are like, of course it takes like knocking you upside the head with a 2x4.
Yeah, with some things, it's like, Lord, some things still, right? So, but that was really beautiful. And of course, the next day, she was having a difficult time laying down, but instead of getting really frustrated, I helped stay with her, and like we went into her tummy space, and we like created this little cavern with all these toys and this unicorn and all of the stuff that she could go in and play with. That she could just close her eyes and go in there and play with all of these things anytime she wants to. So, and I helped her like kind of breathe into her tummy, and so we're going to start doing that instead. And it helped so much. And she did sleep that day. So those like huge celebrations.
Yes. And I'm just going to point out, like, because the words we use are so important, and because I was a child that had a hard time sleeping, I have to say to all the parents out there, refusing to sleep is not a thing.
Yeah.
True. Like that's how we view it. And we view it as like all these different labels, like,
I think for her, a lot of it is that she's been like so disassociated from her body that she's not in connection with those.
She can't relax.
Cues.
Yeah. She can't relax because it doesn't feel safe. And, that could be for so many reasons, ancestral karma and, all the crap she's lived, like whatever, her, stuff that, so it's all.
I was like, okay, we need to create that safe space where we are able to breathe into our body and it feels safe and it feels nice. And so, that was the first thing. Thank God I learned yoga before I had kids, Houston was really little. And thank God we learned, together how to breathe deeply and get into our bodies. And I love the analogy you used about wading into a relationship. Like, I feel that that's so important, whatever kind of relationship it is, because we've all been hurt by friendships and by, all the different kinds of relationships. And so wading in is that visceral experience. And that's what we all got to do. Yeah. Feel our way through it with our hearts and our guts.
because it cannot be done with the
And
soul.
it can be so hard. I feel like with my kids, it's hardest for me because I'm already so connected in there, and it's such a, you know, reflective relationship.
Heal all those ancestral wounds.
Yeah.
That, you know, and all that crap that we didn't heal when we were kids, and we just stuffed it.
Yeah.
And now it's got to come back out. And then sometimes our kids pick up on that, and they have a hard time too. And we just all heal it together, and we learn how to get back in our bodies and get into safety.
Right. Yep. So much. There was like so much to unpack from that last one that I was just like, oh man, this is awesome. And then girl, I have been manifesting like on fire. Like Jesus, amazing. It's been phenomenal. So I won't go into all of those because so we're actually today, this one, the whole finance stability stuff. So, you know, I kind of had my annual thing come around where, you know, it was like, okay, you need to get the fuck out of like, I'm getting married, right? And you need to, my ex-husband was like, you like, it's been a year that you've been here. Like you need to, which I obviously totally get.
So wait, he's getting married?
He's getting married probably, I think in the summer. Okay. And I mean, his thing is like, I'm still here because, you know, they do the religious, like they don't even date or anything. So once they get married, they'll move in together. So pretty sure she doesn't know that I'm here. I mean, she probably wouldn't be very happy with that because she doesn't know our situation, you know? So, so I'm feeling that pressure and
so I'm going to write down time and I was just thinking that I wanted to, before we go into all the like nitty gritty, just ask about the root chakra, physical support and finances, and just see. I feel like I don't know, we'll muscle test and see, but I'm feeling like we might need to do like a goddess moon salute. And maybe it's on time.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Well, possibly because it has kind of come up.
Say that again.
It has kind of come up, like time, like, yeah.
So the most appropriate statement or the most appropriate approach for Heather to address her instability in the root chakra and in the areas of physical support and finances is to do a energy psychology practice, a level up practice, yoga. All right. So goddess moon salute is testing strong. There's a shorter one that we can do. Okay. No, we do. We need to do a goddess moon salute. And
yeah, because that has come up.
That we need to do a statement with the goddess moon salute, and that's testing week. Okay. So let's just go into your body, our bodies, and do, I mean, I could just sit here while you do it. Do you know it? Do you have it memorized?
Yeah, I have it memorized. Yeah, I can just do it.
I'm always game.
Yeah.
We need to,
do we want to go into any of the details? There's some celebrations there already. On
time. Let's talk about
just some things that are manifesting that are like popping up, opportunities and stuff.
Yeah, so what we'll do first, let's do this first. Let's go into the space where there's not enough time. Okay. So just feel into your body and into your energy body.
Yeah, it's low. It's like first, second chakra area for sure.
And right now, I'll say this for everybody watching, the first and second and even like third chakras are
they are so intertwined.
Merging,
yeah,
is not the best word, but they are, working together so closely that it's like one.
Yeah. Yep. And I can feel the strength in the solar plexus chakra, and the like, I'm showing up and I'm doing my thing and I'm working through and like shining that light and feeling great in that. Although, you know, honestly, there is a tiny bit of that too, as I'm stepping outside of my comfort zone in a couple of areas. So I guess there's a tiny bit in the solar plexus chakra too, of just like not quite sure how to like step into these other areas, but you know, it's something that I'm working through. So I've had some opportunities come up, some ideas come up that I'm like, okay, but you know, that whole like stepping into the unknown, not exactly sure where to start and like how to kind of get started sort of thing. So yeah.
All right. So we're going to, and so what happens is when we have a time, like a deadline on the calendar or the clock,
or just even like knowing that something's coming up, yeah,
it pinches off the flow of creativity that we need to totally connect with our, you know, divine power and bring through what we're supposed to be bringing through that cannot fail.
Yeah, because that's honestly, actually, as you're saying this, it's becoming clear to me, because really the like simplest thing is like, I'm at a fork in the road right here, right now, where I can like go back to the quote unquote comfort of a 9 to 5 and throw away all of the priorities that I've been working toward, being here with my kids and doing something, supporting myself, using my, you know, from my feminine energy and like from my passions and all of that. And that obviously doesn't feel good at all. That doesn't feel right at all. Or, which is why I've resisted doing it, or dive into this path of just following all of these opportunities and ideas that are coming up with.
And there's more than 2 options. So let's do our goddess moon salute and release the constraints of time.
Okay. All right.
We've lived in a dualistic, I don't know what to do here. It's not going to really work that well. We've lived in a dualistic world for so long that we think there's only 2 options, or we see it as this like either or. And I think,
well, to be completely fair, I've been working on trying to like incorporate something else to help financially in the meantime, to help support this process that is in alignment.
Like, there's always a third way that we can't see, because we believe that this dualistic, this contrast is real. We think that it's this dualistic reflection.
Like, oh, I think I still am.
It's the time thing. So let's get back into the time thing, and let's get into this space and do our goddess moon salute.
Okay. Okay.
But yeah, we need to, okay, I'm seeing that pendulum, you know, how we're in that either or habit.
Yeah, I feel like it's job or passion.
Yes.
Or maybe job and passion, but it's like the job and passion thing that it's like, I don't know.
Yeah. And so that's why we're going to be doing inhaling tall, exhaling, releasing, and then interlacing the fingers the opposite way before we do it again.
We go both ways first, right?
Do what?
We go both ways and then change the interlace, right?
Yes. And then coming down into the goddess pose. Sometimes my hips have to crack a little bit. into star. Oh, let all your energy go out your fingertips, out your toes, out the top of your head, out the tailbone. Oh, go down into that space where time feels constrained or limited in some way. Just allow the energy to move. All right. Which side do you want to start toward?
The right side, I guess.
All right. Turn our left toes in, our right toes out. Tilt the pelvis first.
Really? Do we, hold on,
I'm sorry.
Do we just lean to the side first? Or do we?
It's a triangle.
While we're facing forward?
Yeah, so you want to be, one of my yoga teachers used to always say, you want to be like a page in a book. With your hips stacked on top of each other, shoulders stacked on top of each other. Heart is facing forward toward the camera. And then you can look straight ahead or you can look up towards your hand. And if you need help, anybody watching at home, feel free to use a block or a chair or something if you can't go all the way down to the floor. Oh, man. All right, so we'll bring that hand down. Now it's this triangle here. With the both feet, toes pointing the same direction now. It's okay if that front leg needs to bend a little bit. Sending the thigh bone, right thigh bone back into the hip socket. Just try to get your hips as square as possible. And here, your left hand's on the floor and you go into a revolve triangle. Again, a page in a book, which is harder in this. Oh. And then that back knee comes down to the floor. Oh. All right, so in this, we're really opening up the hip space. Back knee goes back as far as it can. You want to keep the front knee right directly above the ankle so you don't hurt yourself. But then press the hips forward so you can open. The hips, so much is stored in the hips. Smells like crap. Emotional crap. Oh, man. All right. So now we're going to twist again. So the right hand comes down in front of the...
Mama.
Yeah, baby.
Do I count together?
Yeah. Are you watching Creative Galaxy?
Oh. You gonna do some yoga?
Oh my God, it's water.
It's the wax. It's hot.
Yeah, it's fighting water. Why don't you fart it again?
Oh, baby, my foot's in the way. Don't open that right now.
So we're gonna spend a minute, let the head hang here, and then walk the hands back so that you can straighten out this front leg as much as possible. You don't have to straighten it out all the way. But now you want to have this knee square. And this hip is above the back knee. And then kind of wiggle back and forth, let your head hang. And just wiggle back and forth and let whatever tension in the body notice, let it come out. Relax the face, relax the jaw. Inhale the spine long. And the heart forward, and then you can walk your hands forward and bring your knee back to that lunge. Then we're ready to walk the hands around and go into our side lunge. And so if you have to sit back on your bottom during this one, it's totally fine. If you need a prop for support, it's totally fine. Just find your body's limit. So Heather, and you're going down into that place where you felt that tightness about time and any limits around time. And then we'll go into the full squat. Once you get into your squat, really lengthening the spine, dropping the shoulders, letting the heart come as far forward as you can. Letting the tailbone drop. Connect to the earth. This is a perfect moment for gratitude. And really just dropping your energy down into the earth, allowing Mother Earth to support you in the infinite ways that she does. All right, I'm going to go to the other side lunge, but you go whenever you're ready. Oh, man. How's it feeling?
Wonderful.
Good. Feels pretty good to me. This ankle's a little tight lately. I don't know if I can stay up. Just allowing all those physical limits to melt.
Right. Yes.
You're ready, make your way into that other lunge. I always like to do a pigeon on the way. Do it on the other side. All right, so front knees directly above the front ankle.
Hey, Sarah Bear, baby, can you please get out of the water? Turn the water off, please. Sarah. Okay, turn the water off, please. Should I turn off the TV? I might have to go get my daughter out of the sink.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah, she's getting it. Thank you, baby.
Okay, so now to the lunge on the left side.
Yeah, I can feel this one. There's a lot of really on the left side. My hips feel tighter. Working from that feminine security.
Imagine that. Oh, man. All right, so let's do the twist, and then we'll walk back on the hands like we did last time. Oh. My top hand is way up in the air since y'all can't see that. You can see Heather's. This is perfect. So after you do both sides, then you can come back, sit back into the hips. And again, send that thigh back into the hip socket. Let the head relax, let the face and jaw relax. How's it going? Anything coming up?
Some realizations, just some things that I've been more and more aware of about holding tension in this area of my body recently. Mm-hmm. And just where I've been bringing those areas back into alignment, where they, you know, holding them in the positions that they should be in. Because my hips, and this is something, you know, that of course, as you move through healing your chakras and stuff, you notice that you hold your body in certain ways, and then that, you know, shifts out when you start working through healing those chakras, right? And so, yeah, I've been noticing recently that my hips, when I'm like walking and standing, they're always rolled back like this. And I've been rolling them back under more.
Yeah.
And like catching that and keeping them rolled under, which my whole life they've been rolled like that forward way, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
The things we hold, where the places we hold it.
And I've also been noticing just the tension in, you know, the sex organs themselves, the groin muscles, all of those, you know, from that root chakra. And so I've been doing a lot of, for actually a couple of months, I've been recognizing that and doing a lot of those, like releasing that consciously whenever I'm feeling that tightened. So
let's finish this series. And then we might, I don't know if we want to go back around. I was curious when it was popping up, but it makes sense now. All right, so ready to go into the triangle?
Yeah.
Close toes.
I was like, what do we do next now? Which one's next?
We're done with our lunge and our rotated. Twist in the lunge. And so now we'll do our twist and our triangle after we stretch just a little bit here. And it's okay if your legs don't go all the way straight. It's okay if your heels don't come to the floor. Let's do the revolve triangle first. It's a little bit opposite. And then whenever you're ready, revolve into the forward facing triangle. Oh man. We'll put a link to this series, a better video of instructions of how to do this series. Where you can see the whole me. All right, so now we're going to press our feet into the floor. Come all the way up back into start pose. You can see my feet and Heather's arms. Energy shooting out in all directions. And then we sit down into a goddess pose. And then back into crescent moon. You interlace the fingers and go both ways. Inhale tall in between each curve. And change the interlace of the fingers. And do the other side. And then we're going to stand in mountain pose for a few moments.
Getting warm here.
So just noticing the energy moving through the body or the places where it's stuck. Hopefully it's moving more than it was when we started. if you feel inspired or led to move your hands to any of your chakras or any part of your body. Sometimes it feels good to get this energy going. Moving out. Just take this time to let all that tightness and constriction about time just release and relax. Open to possibilities. There's so many possibilities. Do these physical postures to first of all our life force energy, but also just be more aware of our life force energy. Opening with gratitude, relaxing all that tension in the hips.
It came to me really strong earlier that I need to make sure I go do my booty practice tomorrow.
Yeah.
No, Sarah.
Every day, if it is it.
It's a class, but I mean, and it's not something I could do every day. I would lose way too much weight. Way too high intensity, but
can you do your do a hula hoop or do some belly dancing or do something every day that's like moving this area?
Yeah, definitely.
And really, so
just open it
connection from third chakra down to first, and really stretching it out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think part of I do a lot of that, but I think what I've been realizing more recently is that there was so much tension in that root chakra that while I may be moving the body, there was tension being held while I was moving the body. And so I really need to focus on keeping that tension released while I'm moving the body. But I have been just feeling naturally guided through my own working with this spiral of, I have been, I felt into a future tense where I was fully abundantly supported financially by pursuing my purpose and passions, and felt into what that feels like and allowed my body to feel that. And I really created a memory, like a cell memory of what that felt like, so that I can drop into that throughout the day, just drop into that feeling. So that's been helpful over the past several weeks. And then
so I wrote that down for homework.
Yeah.
And I don't know how to write it, but I wrote, keep fluidity in your hips every day.
Okay.
Exercise fluidity. I don't know.
And I'll remember what it means.
I don't know the right verb.
Yeah.
Do the fluidity thing. Keep the fluidity moving in your hips and the connect. So, I feel it as it's like a tension that kind of goes on both sides of, and I mean, this is a homework assignment for me too, because I'm needing it a lot.
Well, and as you know, I know that when my hips were rolled back, I've been noticing that when they're rolled forward like that, there's so much tension all through those 3 chakras in the lower back.
Yeah.
And rolling those forward helps to release that tension. So, rolling them back under.
Yeah.
So I've really been.
Have you ever done Feldenkrais?
No.
They have it at, well, she does it at a couple different places. I'm on
What
her
is it?
list. It's this amazing, it's a somatic, well, the best thing to do is probably Google it, but it's a somatic healing technique that uses micro movements. It's a body awareness. It's healing through body awareness. But this guy, Feldenkrais, studied the anatomy and all of the connections and all of the, everything, but also the way energy flowed.
Yeah.
And through these these exercises where you do these it's like tilting the pelvis forward and back, but just like an inch.
Mm-hmm.
And being there and breathing and then tilting it back and then breathing and then being there and then breathing and then, and then, but some of the exercises are walking and some of the, the first time I did it was in college. In the dance program, they had a guest person come in and we did it, and I couldn't really get the benefit of it at that time because I didn't understand that. Right. I was so disconnected from my body that I was like, I didn't understand how these micro movements of what was I supposed to be doing? It did not make sense. And then I did it again, I don't know, 5 years ago, maybe more, because they came to the, oh my gosh, I can't think of the name of the yoga studio where I used to do my level up class. Anyway, I'll send you the link to her classes, and that especially the pelvis thing is really, that's one of the basic classes. And she probably can send you videos of because he has some of the basic sequences that you go through, and then there's more that you build on, but the pelvis one and there's a few that are kind of the building blocks of the whole thing. You don't have to, you can just show up to whatever class and you get some awareness. It is bananas. The amount of awareness you get,
I'm sure. Yeah.
It's a really cool process.
Yeah, I definitely want to look into that because, this is something that's just been coming to me that I've been.
And the habits of how we walk and how we stand and how we sit, they're so ingrained that this technique really helps to retrain that. Yeah. And give us a new vocabulary, a
new body vocabulary.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And so it's really great. I'm trying to think if I have that. I don't think I have that on my list of suggested modalities, but
for energy moving.
I do highly recommend it, and we're lucky that we have a really good teacher in Dallas. Yeah. She does some classes up north too. I'll have to look. Yeah, I think I'm still on her email list.
Yeah, it's interesting. The universe there have been shifts, in this whole area. There have been continuing to be shifts, but I felt like there was just a little something that, because even last night, I realized another option that is actually out there. Again, I feel like with this thing, particularly around my security, I started out so far in the imbalanced masculine in it. And then, I know what it feels like when it feels good or when it doesn't, but that doesn't always mean that that's exactly what I should be doing right now. I've come up with some ideas that theoretically would be great, that feel pretty good as alternatives. Okay, well, I could do a normal job, but it could be in this thing that could really help in these ways, and it would still be within the parameters of, but those things aren't flowing. And I'm like, okay, so I'm not supposed to get a jobby job. I'm just supposed to leave.
So yeah. So, but, or maybe that's just, you know, in the future, that's gonna line up, and
right.
Something else in the meantime.
Yeah.
So feel back.
I mean, right now I've literally just been being called to just keep like focusing on my stuff.
So go back into that place down there where you were feeling the tension or the
time constraint.
Yeah. How's it feeling now?
Yeah, it's feeling better.
Okay, there's something else we need to do to open that up. I'm getting a no on that.
Yeah, I think that it was just bringing the awareness to, hey, remember, this is a root chakra thing, which you've already been looking at so much with the root chakra. I've been, you know, throughout the day, I've been just dropping my energy down into Mama Gaia and just imagining that like my root system grows, and then it's like a placenta where she's just sending me all of the nourishment, all of the support, everything I need, that I'm perfectly supported, you know.
Suck it up like a straw.
Yep. Yep.
Just draw it up into your being.
Yeah.
And then sit in the sun and feel it coming from there too.
Mm-hmm.
It comes from the heavens. It comes from the earth. And if you just keep that flow flowing, so physically do your fluidity exercises with your body and your hips, but also do your, I don't know who it was that had this assignment once, but it was like, you need to do this every day for a month or something, to sit, if not on the earth, then at least just inside on the floor, and send your energy down, but then draw it back up.
Yes.
And, you know, it was the drawing back up that was so hard.
Yeah. But when you can draw it back up, gosh, you feel it. You can feel it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so
it's that receiving, right? It's that feminine being able to receive.
I was thinking that maybe you had some statements to do or something, but I'm going to say, drink earth milkshake.
What is that?
Like just draw up the straw, like
the
energy.
I was like, is there actually something that I get to drink in this one that you're going to give me a recipe?
No.
I mean, I'm sure there's probably some like, ooh, actually, you know what? Some cordyceps or something. Some like adaptogenic. Well, I think I might go get like an adaptogenic kombucha or something. That sounds good, actually.
Earth energy milkshake. How about that?
Yeah.
Energy mama shake really is.
The mama shake. Yeah, I feel like there's been so much of this that has come to me naturally. And I just, I can feel it shifting. And, you know, everybody. So the message, I keep getting these messages, like when you said there's another option, I keep getting these messages of like, there's another option. So I've just been like, yes, I definitely know there could be another option. So, and I did get another idea last night. I have no idea, you know, if that's the direction that it'll go or not, because really what I've realized is the best thing for me to do is just allow these ideas to come in, kind of set the intention for whichever one feel good, and just start taking the actions that I continue to feel inspired to take, right? And I think that part of it right now is really, there are some bold actions that there's like larger actions that I'm needing to take that are out of my comfort zone that I need to just dive into and do it, because I know that I'm going to be supported in it. And I've gotten messages in the past several weeks of like, spread your wings, take the leap. And I'm like, okay, wait, which leap? And then now these things are coming up and I'm like, oh, those leaps. Okay. So.
All right. So did we celebrate that you expanded that limiting space in there, cracked through some sort of.
And continue, like, I'm just going to continue to notice, because I always tighten up in that area. It's my natural state is to be tighter in that area, and I constantly have to remember to release it. So
yeah, so that doing that daily physical stuff and energetic, keeping that energy moving, that fluidity, and connecting the first, second, and third chakra, continuing to facilitate that connection so that all three can work together and do what you came here to do.
Yeah. Yeah. See, I didn't feel called to do my Kundalini yesterday, but I have you to, because I was like, what am I going to do for the full moon? And then I was like, wait, I've got Christina tomorrow.
It's happening in
energies for like a week. And then not only that, but Wednesday I've got my, I'm doing one with Jade too, my womb priestess apprenticeship. So
cool.
that's all the first 3 chakras. So
yeah.
Lots
of healing going on in the first 3 chakras all around.
Yeah. But lots of, I've been noticing my manifestational power has just been on fire. It's been awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, it's happening. Shit is happening.
Yeah.
We either gotta grab on and ride with it, or there's no alternative really at this point.
Right. Yeah. Yep. And just keep focusing on, I've actually been doing a really good job of that though, but like focusing on what I want, not what I don't want, right? But I've been doing a really good job of that actually.
It's a habit we have to keep working on. All right, there's statements that Heather needs to balance around time. I'm not getting that there's any statements.
Can you test if there's statements that I need to do around generosity of resources? Because that's kind of come up recently.
Hold on one second. So that's not to say that you won't, statements won't come to you, but
oh yeah, no, they
give you statements right now. But I am giving you these 2 things of homework. And what was the other thing you wanted me to muscle test something?
Generosity of resources, like around me being generous with my resources.
What's the question?
So basically, a couple of things had come up where I was like, I realized that there was maybe a statement that I needed to do around like, I am generous with the resources I have, basically. Like being that facilitator of resources, but I've stepped more into that. I don't know if there's still something to balance in that or not.
Heather has something to balance in this category. It's testing strong. Heather can make statements on that topic. Yeah, if it comes up for you, the answer is yes. Okay. If it comes up like, oh, I think I might need to, if you might, you do.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. That's for you and everybody else. A reminder that like, as you do this work and you start doing it more on your own, you know, like these divine masculine, divine feminine lists, if any of it catches your eye, like, I wonder if I need to do something about, you know, whatever, risky behavior, like whatever.
Mm-hmm.
If it's maybe, then it's yes.
Yeah.
That, oh, maybe I need to do that. That's your spirit guides going, hey.
Hello. Yeah. Okay. Well, I might as well do it real quick while Sarah's being distracted.
On that. If it comes up, and for everybody at home, Heather already knows this, I think, the sooner you balance it, the better. Because if you notice like, oh, I need to heal something around my money issues, and then you don't address it for like a day or a week or a month, or like, you will notice shit going bananas, and wonky, and like, you know, usually you don't make it a month because you're like, what the hell?
Yeah. You're like, oh yeah, that thing.
Like, oh yeah, I meant to balance that stuff about blah,
it's not, don't worry, you're not going to forget.
Yeah, you won't go a month. But it's interesting how that plays out. Like even when one time I was in surrogacy for somebody and I forgot to end surrogacy, and then they had not balanced the thing that,
oh my gosh.
Oh dang.
Yeah.
So we just balanced that quickly and it was all fine. But it was an intense experience there for a couple of hours until I figured it out. And
yeah, I had that for about almost 48 hours at the beginning of the week last week before I realized that it wasn't my energy. I was like, where is all this self-doubt coming from? What is wait, what is this? I haven't felt these thoughts like this in a while. Dang. Like guilt and self-doubt. And I was like,
is having a lot of that crap come up. Just it's all of us. It's humanity. It's humanity stuff that we're all feeling right now.
Yeah.
That story happened a couple of years ago of feeling that person's thing, but it's
a thing.
Things that are coming up, and it's just another opportunity to level up and to raise your vibration on that topic.
Yes.
Which always helps.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I'll send you these notes and we'll say goodbye.
All right.
Our YouTube friends, if anybody made it to the end. See,